We're in the midst of many evils, yet we are called to be out of the world. How can this be? How can we be above the world, yet living here on earth, in this world, but yet not a part, not a member, not ones included in the darkness of the world? How can we rise above? How can we be more powerful than this world? Because this world has a way of doing things. You know, if you're not with them, you're against them. If you're not doing as they're doing, they say you can't prosper. If you want to prosper, if you want to succeed, if you want to do something of any relevance, then you have to do it according to their rules. But God is telling us that He has sent us into this world to be above the world, to be greater than the world, to make the light overcome, to make the light be the new rules, to make the light succeed, to make love succeed, to make peace, to make joy, to make these things the building blocks of the world. Not to come under the things of the world, not to become a part of them, not to do as they do, but still have success, still have prosperity. And I'm not just talking about financial prosperity. I mean prosperity in a freedom, in being yourself, in not being suppressed, in not acting certain ways because of fear or because of the way the norm, the way the group does those things, the majority does those things. How do we rise above? You know, how do we still get the benefits? How do we still live in the blessings on earth? But what about injustice? What about God saying that we are made in His image? Essentially, we are made as a creator. What about becoming like Yeshua? He said that we would be like Him, that we would do the things that He does and did. And even more things than that. What about that side of it? It's not just the side that we sit and we do nothing. It's the side, how do we get to the point of having heaven on earth and making this world with the rules of God, the rules of love, the rules of unity, the rules of if you do good, good will be done unto you, not according to the rules that if you want to get ahead in the world, this is what you have to become in order for you to get ahead. People have forgotten that there is another way, because we've been taught to be good. We've been taught to love. We've been taught to sit there and, turn the other cheek. What about advancing forward and overcoming, being the overcomer that we are called to be, being the one in control, not individually, not as yourself. That's not what I mean by control. Being in the place where God is, being on His side, therefore being in control. Because apart from ourselves, we can't do nothing. We can do nothing. Yeshua couldn't do anything. He said, I can't do anything apart from God. What He tells me, what He shows me, what I hear from Him, what I see Him giving me, the vision, I'll do the same thing. Then, in the agreement, God gives you His faith. When you agree, when you hear and you agree with that, what you've heard, and then you speak it out. When He gives you a vision, He gives you a picture, you agree with that. How do you agree? you speak it out. You say, I agree. Okay, I'm going to speak it out. If you agree, you're automatically going to say it. You're automatically going to speak it up. And that is the point. That is the spark of light. That is the spark of creation. That is the spark of the beginnings. That's what I want to talk about today. The place of creation. This beautiful, miraculous place that opens up to you. When God says, I can trust you, and I'm going to open up the light and the place of creation, the beginnings for you, so you can also operate as a creator. And this whole message that I want to give is about this beautiful, amazing revelation. I was I was so happy yesterday from this revelation. And because of it, it has to do with miracles. Because the place of creation, the beginnings, is the place of miracles where you become the miracle maker in Christ, in God. Because, of course, apart from ourselves, we can't do anything. When you learn how to partner with what God is doing, to become that creative force, to become a powerful force, to become the Jedi, to become the warrior, to become the force that cannot be controlled because you are working in rules, you are working under laws, you are working under precepts that the world, that the darkness does not know these things, because these things are preserved. They are hidden for those who love God. Because we're not just here to sit and wait until we get to heaven one day, and then we're going to have peace, and then everything's going to be okay. And if we don't want any trouble in our life, don't even go into don't meddle with the things of the world, because you're just going to get trouble. And maybe you don't even know how to deal with that trouble. So you're like, well, I'm not even going to go there. I'm just going to mind my own life over here. I'm just going to try to get through life. I'm not going to try to disturb that hornet's nest over there because I don't want to get stung. Because we've learned to love. We've learned to be good. We've learned about these things, that this is the way we're supposed to behave. But what about drawing out that sword and doing something and marching forward? Because the point is going to get where there's going to be so much stress, so much pressure put upon people, that now you have to figure out, what am I going to do? And what do? You call upon the name of God. You call upon God. You cry out to God. But that's not just the end of the story. Because when we see that the children of Israel, the Israelites, how God brought them out of Egypt. When they were coming out of Egypt, God didn't just send them directly into the promised land, which would have been about 3 days walking north of where they were in Goshen. And then they just had to walk about 3 more days more into the promised land, into the land that they were supposed to overtake. But God brought them all the way south from Egypt to where the Red Sea was. And they had to travel around 6 days of going through the desert down there until they reached the Red Sea. I mean, why didn't God just bring them to the promised land right away? But why did God had to take them to a directly different direction? There's things that you have to overcome. There's things that they have to overcome. They had to become a miracle working people. They had to overcome the consciousness of being trapped in Egypt, of being a slave, the consciousness of nobody loves me, I don't deserve any good. I mean, if you think about it, many people are still trapped in this Egypt slavery consciousness. They had to come out of that consciousness by creating a miracle, by being partakers and also the ones in the activity of creating the miracle, because it wasn't just Moses that created the miracle. He created the miracle. He partners with God, and the people also partnered with God in God's faith that God gave them, so that they can all participate in the miracle of parting the Red Sea, because God just doesn't want to do it for you. God wants you to become the creator, to be the one that uses his light, uses his power, uses his faith, sees what he gives you, partners with it, takes it, then has his faith inside of you and does something. Just has an act of faith, and a physical act showing that what is inside of me, what I believe, and the faith that God puts inside of me, because he showed me what I need to see. He told me what I need to do, and I do that thing. That is my physical act of faith. And the faith is not your own faith, it's his faith. It's his faith. And in faith, it's his faith, to a place where they had to part the Red Sea, where they had to get to the next level, out of a consciousness of slavery, out of a consciousness like, I don't deserve this, out of that consciousness, out of the consciousness of, I don't deserve love, God doesn't hear my prayers, I'm all alone, I'm just trying to survive, to the consciousness of, I love and I deserve to be loved. I pray and God answers me. God hears me because he is my creator. He is the one who created me, and he loves me. He loves his creation. He saw that it was good. When he created you, he saw that it was good. He loves you. And he answers your prayers. He hears you. Getting to that next level and crossing from where they were, because they were trapped, right? They were trapped in the mountains, a mountain on the right, on the left, and the Pharaoh's army was behind them. They were trapped in the place, and the Red Sea was in front of them. They had to have that leap of faith. They had to cry out to God. But God told them, why are you crying out to me? I've already told you what and where your power is. I've already given you the power. I've already shown you the power of how to cooperate with me, how to work with me, how to make miracles with me. Remember the name El Shaddai. It taught us that God wants the potential of his power, his glory. He doesn't want to just do it for you. He wants himself to come through you and do it through you. He wants to be a participant of it with you. He wants you to be a participant, a participation with him, and doing that thing with him, because he wants to be involved. He's a personal God that wants to be involved with you, and he wants that process to be done through you. And he wants to be involved in the process of creating that miracle through you. Because you know what happened when they went to the Red Sea? God, he caused Pharaoh's heart to grow stronger, right? We know that it was hardened. And now when Pharaoh saw, he heard word that they were there trapped in front of the Red Sea. And God caused him to think, these guys are going in the wrong direction. They've been going in the wrong direction this whole time, and now they're trapped. What a perfect opportunity for me, Pharaoh, to go and attack them. But this was all a setup. That's why God, not only for their own benefit, he had to take them through the process of the journey to go through some healings, but he also took them because they needed to see that God was proactive in their life, and God was a God that loves them and that wants to work with them to give them a miracle, to make them overcome, to help them to overcome the Egypt, that consciousness of slavery, the consciousness I don't deserve better, the consciousness of let me just die so I can go to a happy place after that. I think the only salvation at that point for the Israelites being enslaved in Egypt was probably thinking, let me just die. And then, because they were slaves, they worked. All they did was make someone else rich. And what a world we live in today. Is it not just the same thing, but it's a little bit disguised? So a little bit makes you feel like there is freedom, makes you feel like you have a choice, but really, do you have a choice? So God took them to that Red Sea so that it would be a setup for Pharaoh, because he said that I want to show Egypt that I am God. But not only that, he wanted to show the Israelites that he is God. We're under this slavery system and don't even have a thought of hope, really, that it's like hope is painful at that point. Let's not even think about it. Let's just, try to get through it, and then maybe one day it will die and we'll go to a better place. We'll go to heaven. Where was their power? They didn't have any power back then. But now God wanted to be a participant. He said, "Why are you crying out to me?" They all cried out to him. When they saw the army, they started crying out to God because there was nothing else they could do. Because they were at the end. Sometimes we have to reach to the very end, and it's sad because there's always levels. Okay, we're gonna take away this from you, or they're gonna make you pay a little bit more of this, and they're gonna pay you. It's not gonna be a big increase at the same time. In the world that we live today, it's gonna be little increases. So you get used to that little increase, and then they give you another, and then you get used to that little increase, and then finally, you're choked. So they had to get out of that victim mentality. Egypt was the victim mentality, and God wanted to precipice them into an overcomer mentality, into faith. God is for me. They were forced to trust God. And all of them started crying out to God. And God said, "Why are you crying out to me? Why are you yelling out to me? Why are you calling out to me? I've already given you the answer. I've told you what to do." And then he said, I'm going to get to that part, but then he said, tell the people to travel. Like, travel where? We can't go back. We can't go side, mountain, Red Sea. Where are we supposed to travel? Where are we supposed to go? Take the leap. Take the leap up. Travel up. Go into the place of creation. Go into the silent place. Go into the most quietest place in all of the universe. Go to the silent place where God can work on your behalf. And Moses said, don't worry, don't be afraid, just be still, be quiet, and watch the salvation of the Lord. Watch the salvation of God. Go to the quiet place. When he said be quiet, it wasn't just, shut your mouth, be quiet. It was go to the quiet place. Go to the place where you disconnect from all of the trouble that you're facing right now at the moment, and you're pressed. You don't know what to do. You can't go back. You can't go to the side. You have no option. You're trapped. You're checked. Yeah, and it looks like checkmated. It is a checkmate because there's nowhere else to go. God says, go up. Travel up. Travel to the place of the beginnings. to create a dimension that doesn't exist on that chessboard, to create a path and a way and a possibility that only can come from the place of the creation, of the place of quiet, the place of stillness, the place of silence, the place of the beginnings. This was so exciting for me when I heard this, because this is exactly what the Lord showed me. Because when God told Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? I've already given you the answer. I've already showed you and told you what to do. Use it." What was he talking about? When Moses was on Mount Sinai, God didn't just give him the 10 outlines of the precepts, of the things that needed to be followed to have a good life. He gave him much more. He gave him much more in that light. In the light that Moses was, in the light of his presence, God gave him a lot, because that light is information. That light is emanations of all of the desires, of all of the heart, of all of the what God has planned for those who love him. His plans, his wills. And what did he give him? He gave him his wills. He gave him many of his wills. I wish above all things that you prosper, be in health, even as your soul prospers, your mind prospers, leaving darkness, having the power to overcome this situation and that situation. God knows everything that would ever happen, all the possibilities of all of those things that would happen here on earth. And he gave you his will. He gave you his blessing and his promise to overcome those things. He gave you, and it says that he gave 72 names of himself. So that is 72 wills of himself. One day, when I think it was like 2 weeks ago or something, I was meditating to the Father in his presence, and in the presence of his 72 names. And as I was praying to the Father, and I was seeing this, and I was praying, and I was just, it's just there in front of me. Like, I go through the other video, I talk about this, but I want to talk about this more because it's really significant for this lesson, for this message. They opened up. The 72 names, the chart of it, I saw it open up. And it's like the doors opened and they invited me in. This never happened before. Before, I would see the names, they would come into my mind, or they would come into my chest, my heart, written on the laws of God, written on your heart. They would come into the heart or into the belly. But this time, it's like the doors opened up and they were inviting me in. Come on in. Come on in. And I'm like, wow, what is happening? Okay, I'm going to go in. I'm going to see what's going on in there. As I go in, I come into a place of pure light. Light on the bottom, the sides, the top, everywhere, light. And I hear this message that this is the place of eternal life and immortality. This is the place from whence you can have eternal life and immortality. You can walk in it on earth, this place of pure light. And then I furthermore hear, but if you turn away from this place, if you forget this place, if you turn your back to it, if you go somewhere else and pursue other things that are opposed to that, then you will start to die. You will be in the process of dying. Which made me think, But because of what Adam and Eve did, the process of dying began, right? Because of what Adam and Eve did, the process of dying began. So it wasn't the same thing. And I knew that you can't be double of the same thing. If that's what we are right now because of what Adam and Eve did, and we know that Yeshua has brought us eternal life, he's come to give us life and life more abundantly, and through him we can reach the Father. Through him we can reach what the Father has. What does the Father has? He has the place of light, immortality, and eternity. That's what Yeshua brought for us, to bring us back to that, to the Father, to relationship, to eternal life, and break off that curse from Adam and Eve and from the Garden of Eden. So when I got that message, somewhere else opened up, another place after the light. And I entered into this place, and it was a place of black. Like, it was just black. It wasn't evil, just because it was black, it wasn't evil. It was like the cosmos. And it was like space, it was like being in space, in the cosmos, silence. There was no, it was just pure, beautiful silence. And I could see like the living letters. I can see them everywhere, floating around, I saw like some clouds, and I knew it was energy, and it was like I saw forms of combustion, like bigger, like potential, like every, like very atomic level physics, atoms, and just all of the potential. All of the place of creation, the place of the beginnings, the place where everything is birthed out of the spirit. It's created in the spiritual, and it flows through light, because remember, there's that black place, the place of creation. Then it goes into light, and then from light it comes out of the 72 names of God into the physical realm. That's how the steps that it goes through. While I was in this place, I said, wow, okay, this is amazing, but what is this place? Like, I asked, Lord, where am I? What am I supposed to do here? Okay, this is great. What am I supposed to do here? And immediately I heard the verse that says, in the beginning was darkness, and God said, let there be light. So, because that's that level that I was in that black, dark black cosmic realm place of the beginnings of creation, and God said from that place, let there be light. And that's why that next level was light, because God created that next level before it, the level of light. That was what he created. And it was, what did he do in that place? You have to know, what did he do? What do we do as creators? What do we do as overcomers? When it says, when he told them to go up, he told them, he didn't tell them to go, he told them to travel. But he meant, go up in your consciousness. Go up into the silent place. Be in the silent place. Be in the place where you don't see your problems anymore, when your mind is not connected to them. All you are is in that place. And the way to get to that place is coming into God, because I've heard this, that the place of that darkness is in the Father's heart. Because God created, he created from himself. From his own desire, he created. From his own heart, his desire. And he said, that was the action that we have as creators, as overcomers, to speak. That is our physical faith coming out. That is the point of, there has to be, if you believe something in the spiritual realm, you've seen that it is there. You've seen that it's available. The Father has shown you. The Holy Spirit has shown you. You've seen it in the Spirit that it is there. You know that every fiber of your being knows. You know that it is just there. You don't have to force to believe it, because that's not pure knowing. You know that it's there. You felt it. You've seen it. You've understood it. It's just there. I know that it's there, and I know it's going to come. But you have to have a action. You have to have a physical action to make a miracle. You have to have that point in this physical realm to bring that thing that is in the spiritual realm, to draw it out. The thing that you saw in the potentiality, in the place of creation, you saw some form of it. It came together, the building blocks, the living letters. It created something in that place. You've seen it. You felt it. You know that that's what the Father's will, not your own will, but you've seen what the Father's will is for you. You've agreed with it because you've seen it. You see it. I agree. I speak out, and it comes forth into this realm, into this physical realm. And that is how you become miracle workers. You become overcomers of the situation that you are in, of the situation where the Israelites were in, the situation the army is behind us, the mountains are on the side of us, the sea is in front of us. You're in the situation. How do you come out of that situation? You travel upwards. God told Moses, tell the people to travel, to go upwards into that creative place where there is no fear. Fear is in Egypt. That's the consciousness. See, and we need to get out of that consciousness. We need to new creation that never existed before. Coming out of the consciousness of slavery, coming out of the consciousness of fear, of oppression, and coming into, but how are we going to get to the other side? How are we going to get to the level of a consciousness of overcomer? By facing that Red Sea, that problem, that issue, that stump, that cycle, that perpetual addiction, or whatever it is. By facing it, how are we supposed to overcome it? By traveling upwards, going into the place of creation, going into the Father, going into His heart. If you don't understand the whole 72 names of God thing, that's fine. Go into the Father's heart. That is the place of that creation, that silence. And in that place is all of the emanations of God's love for you. Because those 72 names of God are the emanations of His light, are His wills. I will this. I love you this way. I want this in your life. I want to see you prosper. I want to see you an overcomer. I want to see you as Yeshua is. I want to see you do the things He did. I want to see you walk on water. I want to see you walk through walls. I want to see every potentiality that you have, that I placed in you as God, the Creator. I placed in my creation to be like me. He wants us to be like Him. He wants us to be like Yeshua. Not overcome Him and not be above Him, but to be like Him. To operate in His thoughts, because those 72 emanations of His wills are also, have your mind as my mind is, as the Father's mind. Your mind being renewed to His mind. Your thoughts. If He only thinks good things to us, then we must only think good things towards others and towards situations. Whatever the process is for that to open up to you, it will open up to you, and you'll enter into that place of creation. God says, I trust you to be a creator. I trust you to act responsibly, because remember, out of that place only goodness comes. Remember that vengeance belongs to the Lord. And just because He's given you this power and authority doesn't mean you can misuse it, and because vengeance belongs to the Lord, and only do what the Father shows you to do. So that's the point. In the place of creation, when God told him, I've already told you what to do, what did Moses do? He went through that 72 names, and he went directly through that light into the place of creation, into that, that dark place, not evil, just full of the beginnings, the potentials, the living letters, the codes, the building blocks to create stuff. And from that place, when you speak, things will be created. Things will come together to create. Remember, Yeshua couldn't do anything apart from what God showed him or from what God told him. So when he went into that place of creation, through the potential of his wills, God showed him that the Red Sea had parted, because he didn't even know what was going to happen. He didn't know that parting the Red Sea was even a thing. Okay, he didn't know that it was possible. But when he went into the place of creation, he saw. He had a vision. He saw. The Father showed him the Red Sea parting. The Father told him something, because it says he told him, stretch out your hand and over the waters, and the waters will part. The waters will part. He saw that in that place of creation. It became available. God showed his will directly for that situation. He saw it. He heard what the Father told him. So what did he do? Immediately, to create that miracle into the physical realm, he did the same thing that he saw the Father showing him. And he said, the sea is parted. He said it. Put out his arm over it, and he said, the sea is parted. And there's a guy from the tribe of Judah. They're all watching him, right? There's a guy from the tribe of, and they're like, he said the sea is parted. They're like, what? What are you talking about? The sea is not parted. But he already saw, he knew with every fiber of his being, he knew with every atom of his body, every cell of his body was bursting with light, knowing that that's what it is. And he said, the sea is parted. And they're like, what? No. And then the guy, the tribe of Judah guy, yelled out, if Moses said, he's telling the people, if Moses said, that means if God said, because they know he spoke from God. If Moses said the sea is parted, it is parted. And he jumped. He jumped into the sea. And everybody after him jumped into the sea. That was the faith. That was the seeing what God showed you. Moses saw what God showed him. He spoke it out. That was the contact from the spiritual to the physical realm. You speaking it out. That was the contact from what you saw in the spirit. It's the birth. It's the conception of the light, of the potential being born in the physical realm. And everybody, that one guy out of millions of people said, if Moses said that, if God said that, then it parted. And it's like he grasped, that guy grasped. Wow, that guy has a very high standing with God, with in heaven. That guy has a very high standing just for doing that. We don't know what other things he did. But to get to the point of him doing that one thing, he must have gone through a lot a lot of his own partings of his Red Sea to get to the point where he grasped, he saw the light. He saw the potential of what Moses said. He grasped that and he spoke it out as well. And then everybody did a physical action. Not just the physical action of speaking it, but they also did the physical action of actually doing something. Because sometimes you have to do something. It's not just about speaking. Maybe it's just about speaking. Maybe you don't have to do anything. Maybe it's actually clearing a space for that thing. I don't know. It could be any physical action. Everybody jumped into the water. And when everybody were up to here, they were up to their necks. It was like, this is now or never. It's the last 5 minutes before 12. It's the last 2 minutes before 12, before midnight, before the end. That is when the sea actually parted. So the people, who parted the Red Sea? Moses? Did he do it by himself? No, he used what he saw. He used the light. He had to go through the light. He had to go from creation. That thing that was created, the will of the Father in creation was created, and you saw it. It had to come out through the light. That light had to carry it. The potential of the miracle that came out had to carry the light, had to be embalmed with the light for it to come through his will be done on earth as it is in heaven, as it is in the spiritual realm. Had to be done. And that's how it was done. That light had to be birthed. The spark had to come. The conception had to come to create the miracle, and they had to see the miracle. Everybody that were under the slavery mindset, well, not just, but yes, the slavery mindset of Egypt, they had to see that, they had to go through it. They had to see that God's power of overcoming is inside of them. God's authority is inside of you. God's power is inside of you. God's overcoming, God's warrior, God's triumphancy, God's banner is inside of you. The banner that you can wave and say, I'm saved from this. I'm saved from what I was in that dark place of Egypt. In the darkness, in the wickedness, in the evil of the world. The hub of the evil of the magic, the voodoo, the magicians, all of that hub of the evilness of the world. I'm saved out of that. I'm plucked out. I've taken you out of the world. You are not of them. I've delivered you from them, and I've placed you into the kingdom of light, where you can be an overcomer, where you are meant to be a creator. We are meant to be creators. We are meant to be creators. This is the age that we are coming in, knowing that we are meant to be creators. We're not just there to sit there and take it from one side to another side, to the back side, to the front side. We're not just meant to sit there and take it. We're meant to be creators. We're meant, anytime a trouble comes up, not of our own strength, not of your own strength. And that leads me to another point, that when you may say, because I want to tell you my own personal miracle that actually happened yesterday. I was telling this whole message to my husband yesterday morning, and I was telling him about the process that we have to go through, the miracle working process, to know, to have the confidence to be overcomers. When you go into the creative place, to the place of creation, the beginnings, the quiet place where you still you're quiet from all your troubles, and you see the Father's goodness, you see the Father's love, you see what the Father has for you. In that still place, you are able to see what's available for you in that specific situation. in the specific issue that you're up against, whether it is an issue of your soul or your mind process or your thinking process. Maybe it's a slavery thinking process. Every time you come into the place of creation, it's not just like the world speaking out their positive affirmations, because that's what the world does. They speak their positive affirmations and they say what they want. First of all, they're not in the place of creation when they say it. But secondly, they're just saying what they want, their own will. This is different because you are there to see what the Father's will is for you. What's His way out for you in this situation that you're facing? In this Red Sea that you're facing, in this situation, you don't know how to get out of it. You've been in it for years. It's a perpetual thing that you come across. It's the Pharaoh that you have to keep facing. How do you get out of that? When you come to the Father, in His heart, to that creation place, you're not there to state your own will statements. You're not there to say, let there be blah, blah, blah. You're there to see what is available for you. Then you say, let there be this thing that you see or that you hear the Father say. If the Father says something to do, go ahead and do it. That's your physical point of contact to bring that miracle through those channels of creation, the light, through His name, and into the physical reality. Just because you go there, you see something, you know that you know. Every fiber, every cell of every atom of your being is alive with knowing that that's available for you. Okay, you just have to know that you know. And when you know that you know, it's not kind of like, I'm making it happen, like positive affirmation world stuff. It's there. I don't have to do anything. That's why Moses told them, be still, be silent, and watch the salvation of the Lord. That is when you go there, you see what the Father has available, His will for you, and all you did was speak it out. You don't know how. You're not supposed to know how. You're not meant to know how. All you know is that thing is going to arrive, but you have no idea. You're not supposed to know you're not supposed to tell God how it's supposed to happen. All you're supposed to do is see that the thing is there, see what the Father's will is available for you. What is He giving to you now? What is He holding out in His platter for you that is available for you? You can see that thing. You can say, yes, I want this. This is what I desire also. I partner with it. I agree with it. I want it in my life. Let it be, let there be this thing coming in my life, whatever it is. Say it out. Say it out from the place of creation. Speak out God spoke out from the place of creation. In the beginning was darkness, and God said, let there be, what did He want? Light. Let there be light. And light was formed. All of the elements came together. All the living letters came together to create that thing. And what is the next level that created? Was light. But I want to encourage you that just because you really know, first of all, you have to really know that that's what it is. You'll know that you won't be striving for it. You're not supposed to be striving. You're not supposed to be looking. Okay, so now I'm going to look out for it and I'm going to make it happen. No, it's not by your strength. It's not by your might. Be still and see the salvation of the Lord in your life. And in that time, you're not going to waver. You're not going to have doubts. Because you've seen in the Spirit, in the place of creation, you've seen that it's available for you. Why are you going to doubt? It's there already. Like it's like seeing something and say it doesn't exist. You've seen that it exists. It's there. So you cannot ever doubt. But just because you don't see it and you really know that it's there, sometimes it doesn't come at the exact time you think it's going to come right now. Sometimes it doesn't come right now. Okay? Sometimes it takes a little time because things have to align for that flow of ease. Okay? It may involve other people as well. This thing that you've seen may involve other people as well. Okay? So it might take a little time for those things to come into alignment and the flowing, because when it's not by might, it's not by striving, it's not by, if you feel like you're striving, let go of it. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. When it flows easily, it's going to come, the process, the step-by-step process, because you don't know the process. You're not supposed to know the process. Otherwise, you can mess it up. It's better that you not know. All you know is that thing will appear. That thing will be. Just trust the Lord. Be still. Be in the stillness place. Be in the stillness of your heart that you know that you've seen it. You're not going to doubt it. It's going to come. It's going to arrive in its own time. But things have to align because it has to come out through ease and flow. When God gives you something, it comes easily. Think about the times in your life when you've received something. It came really easily. It came like, I didn't really do much. We have to see the faith. And that's God's faith. It's God's faith that makes it happen. Our faith would be like saying, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to work at my own strength. I'm going to grind this thing out. I'm just going to push this wagon up this mountain and make it happen. But when God does something, all he does is he shows you, you agree with it, you speak it out, or you do it. You do some form of physical action, and then that thing comes. It may not come right away because it has to come in ease and flow. It is written, in the end, many shall go up. Many shall go up. People will be trapped. They will be pressured. Sometimes people don't do anything until they're absolutely trapped and pressured. Then they call out to God. But God is saying, don't call out to me. Travel up. Come to that place where you can see my will for you. Come into the heart, the place of creation in the Father's heart, where he shows you his possibility. What's available for you. You partner with it. You are a co-creator. You are a co-creator. In the end, it is written, many shall go up. Many will ascend. Many will travel up. Because they are going to need God's deliverance, God's salvation, God's provision. We don't have to wait till the end to get to that. We don't have to wait and just sit there and take it as it comes and not make a positive impact. We can believe in the good. We can believe in love. We can believe in hope. We can believe in unity. We can believe in the kingdom of heaven on earth. Through the power and authority that he has given us as co-creators in this world. He's brought us here to overcome, not to hide away somewhere and be like, oh, I just want to wait till my life is over and I don't want to be involved with all this mess and I don't want to have anything. I don't want to have no trouble. This is how we have the power and potential to overcome the world. Just like Moses and the people overcame the world at that time. Egypt was the hub of the world at that time. It was the hub of evil at that time. They didn't have to be slaves to that system anymore. They could overcome it with God's power, through God's power. Moses didn't do it by himself. He used God power, but yet God didn't do it for him. You cannot be a creator and angry at the same time. You cannot be in Egypt, slavery mindset, and be a creator at the same time. You have to cross the Red Sea to be a creator. I'm going to tell you a secret about these 72 names of God, what they actually do. Let me put it this way. If you're playing with fire, you're going to get burned. The fire of God, I mean. The fire of God is contained in the emanations of the light of God. These 72 wills of the Father that are for you. All for your goodness, all for your blessings, all for your prospering, succeeding. Every good thing is in the Father's will for you. When you engage with the 72 names of God, when you meditate on with them, with the Father and with them and in them, and you see them before you and engage with them, what you're doing is you're saying that, because each one of the codes of the 70, each name, each code of the 72 names, each code carries a specific blessing. It carries a specific result. It carries a specific will that the Father has for you. And when you're engaging with them, it's like you're accepting them, you're embracing them, because this is the Father. This is God's love poured out, his light, his goodness, everything poured out to you. When you're engaging with them, you're saying that I desire those wills that the Father has for me. I want them to come into my life. I desire those things. I desire freedom from this, mindset, souls, challenges, trauma, set free, so many things in those things. I desire to know how this works. I desire to know how to be able to do this. Something that Yeshua did. Whatever those wills of the Father are for you, you're saying, I desire those end results. Now, the power of God that is in those codes, in his wills, in the spirit of wisdom, knowledge, revelation, understanding, might, spirit of counsel, spirit of the fear of the Lord, spirit of the Lord, all the spirits that are encased in him, all those things are going to set to work in your life. They're going to get to work because you've said, okay, I'm giving you permission to do what you need to do in me to allow me to live as heaven on earth. Live in the blessings of God. Live in the wills of God. I give you permission. I'm giving you permission. Do what you got to do. And that part of doing what you got to do is not going to be comfortable, because there's a lot of stuff in your subconscious that are buried. There's a lot of muck and gunk and dirt, that those things, for them to clean those things up, you got to start making some dust. And you're going to feel those things. You're going to process them as they come out of you, because you've said, okay, I allow this whatever you got to do to get me to the level of having the will of the Father, that blessing manifested in my life. I allow that process to come through me. And if you're looking at all of the 72 names of God, you're dealing with your mind, you're dealing with your heart, you're dealing with your soul, you're dealing with your body, you're dealing with so many things at the same time. And it can get heavy and overwhelming, because you're going to be processing a lot of that. You're going to be going through a lot. As it comes up, you're going to be feeling those things. You're going to have to deal with them. You're going to have to go through the Red Sea of that thing. You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to engage with God. You have to travel up. You're going to have to do that. to get through that Red Sea, to create that miracle, to overcome that Pharaoh, to overcome that fear that you have, to overcome the fear of that person, to overcome how to come out of your shell, how to come out of the box. Wow, there is a lot. So don't be discouraged and you think, oh, this is not working, I'm feeling worse. No, the 72 names of God, you've invited them, you said, do what you got to do. Now they're doing it. And it's not going to feel comfortable. God is not going to do the miracle for you. He didn't want to do any more miracles. You do the miracle. Moses, I already told you what to do. You do the miracle. He's not going to do it. He doesn't want to do it all for you and you just sit there and watch. He wants to participate, be the miracle through you. He wants the experience of himself working through you because he loves you and he wants to have shared time with you. He wants to have, communion time, communing with you, his spirit. He wants to, family time, quality time. He wants to have that quality time with you. He wants to go through the experience with you. So you're going to go through all those Red Seas, and there's a lot of them. Potentially, there's 72 of them. It takes a while for the process of healing to happen in your life. In order for the Israelites to be out of Egypt, it took 7 weeks, like 49 days, for them to get through the whole healing until the 50th day. They would be able to connect with God. So just because it's not happening really fast and everything feels amazing right away, it may feel amazing in one area as you overcome that area, as you part the Red Sea in your life concerning that thing. It may feel great in that, but then there'll be another thing. Now you have to start working on that thing, It's going to take some time before you reach that place. So just know that. Be patient with it. But be diligent. Keep pursuing it. Don't back off of it. You take a break for some time until you feel you've gained enough. Now you can go back into the battle. Now you can go back into the front line of it. Now you can press forward again. With the Lord's strength, with the Lord's faith, you can do all things because he strengthens you. Blessed be the name of the Lord. God bless you, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much.